What is up, RotoGrinders? Baseball is what we're talking about today. Of course, basketball is going on. Basketball is a thing, but Crunch Time is going to handle basketball. If you tune in for basketball, our apologies. But stick around and play a little baseball. In about 6:15 or so, they're going to talk about basketball. That decision was basically done because, well, I guess because baseball is new and basketball is old, but mostly because this time of year, as far as the NBA, it's, you listened to us do content a couple of days ago. Well, this guy's questionable. 19 other guys are questionable. If then. And baseball, they tell you the lineup right now. Mostly, we have some lineups that aren't out just yet as far as the West Coast, but information will be changing. It'll be fluid. So Crunch Time will have a much better handle on the NBA slate. They'll be talking about it. We're doing both sports. Baseball first. We're going to bridge the Crunch Time, talk a little basketball. Help me out. It's one of the greatest DFS players in all of Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada. It's TJ Zwarich. I assume Spidey is somewhere hanging around, somewhere lurking. The Spidey bombs will be a thing. They will be in effect. And apparently J3 is, I don't know if J3 is like nominated himself to keep track of our Spidey calls or our just home run calls, our Dawn calls all season long. But he gave me 100%. I just want to be clear. I gave 2. So I was 1 for 2. I gave Joey Gallo and Eddie Rosario. So I was not 100%. Thankful for that. But I want to be honest about it. I was 1 for 2. Spidey, I think, was a little bit off yesterday, but he's going to bounce back tonight, TJ. I have that on good authority. Is that going to happen?
Yeah, a couple of really strong games from the Spidey Bombs. We got some hits, we got some steals, some RBIs, some runs, but no homers. So we're ready to run it back today. Spidey's a little rusty, but when he gets hot, he gets hot. And so we'll be dropping them today. Not 0 for 4. K-Town's finest in the chat says there was only 3. Don't drop the 0 for 4, Juju. I mean, there was only 3. People are trying to pump up Dean's stats and drop mine lower already as the season goes on, but I see how it is. We're ready. Spidey's ready.
Fix is in
to step things up. And we got some good ones today. A pretty strong one I feel really good about that may not be the most sneaky. As soon as we get to 50 likes, as soon as we get to 100 likes, I got a nice sneaky one for us.
Shout out to chat. Do hit that like button. Do subscribe. Do turn on those notifications so you know when we go live. Derek, shout out to Derek. Said he went 3 for 4 on home run best yesterday. And then Bobby Gomes, friend of the show, says, I worry about Dean in this show. Probably less so about TJ and more so about Kirkwood and his Juggalo bombs. I don't know what Bobby is insinuating. Kirkwood, is there anything I should be worried about?
No, not at all. I don't know what the hell he's talking about.
Welcome.
Yeah. First things, I was ready for NBA. I thought we were talking NBA slate here. So,
yes.
Straight at, I'm going to have to pivot right now. Get going. But I
do I need to show the DMs right? We specifically told you at 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock, just so you know, this is what we're focusing on.
First of all, there's no such thing. Second of all, you don't share DMs. That's the whole point of a DM.
Well, if you wrong me, you just don't wrong me. Don't stab me in the back.
Anyways, I hit my first Juggalo bomb yesterday, Freddie Freeman, and we are going to keep it going. It was a good day yesterday.
Congratulations. Did you have that the double martini?
What's the double martini?
Nick Martini and a couple homers yesterday for Cincinnati Reds?
No, I did not have Nick Martini. Why the hell would I have had Nick Martini?
Well, why were you so startled by that question?
He was literally the one Red that didn't make it into my lineups yesterday. It was devastating.
I had him in some, but unfortunately I had him with CES and all the other Reds that stunk. I didn't have him as like an a la carte piece, but we shall move on. We're going to talk about our favorite stacks, of course, our favorite pitchers. We'll dig into all that kind of stuff. Got an hour plus till we yield to crunch time. I believe we have Derek Carty coming on later to talk a little baseball. Kevin Roth, of course, all over weather. And Taylor Smith will be talking some basketball. Yankees lineup just dropped, by the way. Torres, Soto, Judge, Rizzo, Stanton, Verdugo, Volpe, Wells, and Cabrera. That is the Yankees lineup. We're going to get some lineups kind of sprinkling on through. We might actually have a few that are not officially released until we're into the slate. The slate starts 6:50. That's for FanDuel and DraftKings. And there are several late games. Giants, Padres, Cardinals, Dodgers, Rockies, Diamondbacks. Rockies got absolutely shellacked, pummeled, whatever adjective you want to use last night. 14 runs, I think they gave them in the third inning, something like that. Kind of settled down after that, but their bullpen already getting abused one game into the season. We mentioned Kevin Roth. There is one weather game you want to keep an eye on. when it comes weather out in Oakland, surprisingly. Last I saw it was orange. Let's give it a refresh. Orange is when we start getting concerned, right? Right, TJ? Like orange is like a legit color to be yellow, whatever. We'll keep our eye on it, but not going to freak out. But yeah, it's a straight orange as well. So this is probably one of the less popular games in the slate for what it's worth. And maybe it's nothing. We're still like 5 hours out until this game starts because it's a West Coast game, but I do want to drop that in the chat for the people. Is that something we care about as of right now? Are we panic? Cleveland versus Oakland, currently orange. I don't love that game, and I imagine it's not terribly popular.
I don't think it would be a huge. What's that?
Is Weather Edge done, or is it down, or is it just not up yet, or am I like not in the right place?
It's up. Right. It's right under the MLB weather tab. If you go to the MLB tab on the main page.
Yeah, I'm showing it's like nothing, but maybe I gotta relog in again or something.
I'll drop it in our.
Okay. There we go. It worked now.
It's a rough first.
All right, because I was thinking it was a good time to if we got 1,000 likes, I'll launch my I'll give access to everyone to my dew point model beta. 1,000 likes.
Okay. Is anything tied into you Fenway opening day? Anything you want to throw in there out there? Of course, Boston, your beloved Red Sox, they're on the road. They're not at home just yet. Are you planning on going to opening day? I know you've kind of talked about that throughout the last couple of weeks.
No, I wouldn't go unless I was going to streak. So I would honor my bet if I lost, and I would do it. And Flying Armbar, member of the chat, said he was going to do a Yankees. So we were actually potentially planning on doing a double streak at a Red Sox Yankees game.
Sure, synchronized.
Just get crazy,
All right. Today's John in chat saying Stripling is a top value pitcher in Oakland. Yeah, I mean he could be. I don't think I need it personally, and it's a conversation we'll have. And so you can play Stripling, kind of opens up some salaries. We do.
I actually like Logan Allen in that game.
Yeah, I'd probably be more apt to play Allen as well, and he's going to be pretty lost, and it's a tricky one even for Roth when Roth comes on, just because it's unless maybe you can tell us, but the closer you get the lock, the closer you get the first pitch, that's when you have the most information, and even when Roth comes on in about an hour or so, we're still going to be 3.5 hours until that game kicks off. Scheduled first pitch. Greatest thing about baseball, by the way, scheduled first pitch is 7:07. 7:07. And 1 second is the very first pitch. Just amazing. It's amazing. You can actually time that out. Who would think? Hopefully the NBA will take note one of these days, but they won't. All right. Other lineups are kind of sprinkling on through. I guess we have all the early ones. Yeah. Okay. So this slate's kind of split in half. 8:10 is the Yankees and the Astros. Then the 9:40 game start. We don't have lineups there just yet, unless I missed one. And again, some will be coming on through as the show progresses. But TJ, we're going to talk pitchers first. We'll talk some stacks, and it's pretty straightforward, right? I think pitchers, it's hard to kind of rank. At least I had a hard time ranking my top 5 pitchers. But I was very clear, these guys are in the bucket and these guys aren't in the bucket. And stacks, I mean, I think it's pretty clear that, the Dodgers, are you sitting down? Yeah, the Dodgers, and then the Diamondbacks running it back versus Cal Quantrill, who's shockingly the number 2 pitcher for the Rockies, which is oh my God, who else is coming for the Rockies if he's their second best pitcher? And the other part is it's a distinct drop down from the opening day starters, which you had all these studs, and there's still some really good pitchers out there, but I just pulled it up. It's Austin Gomber, Ryan Feltner, and Dakota Hudson cast away for the Cardinals. So get excited for that. The Rockies starting rotation.
Let's just wait until those games start happening at Coors, and then these are going to be even more different stories. But you know what today is, Dean? Do you realize what today marks?
Well, it's March 29th. It's not the Ides.
No.
What do you set me up for? Is this something Marvel related? Is this something I would probably guess?
It's Steve's wife's birthday, so happy birthday to Steve's wife.
Okay, I didn't know that. Shout out to her.
Additionally, it was my baby's due date, so I probably wouldn't have been here if baby was going to come today. But since I am here, and it's Grinders Live, and it's MLB, it's the return of the feud, Dean.
We're playing the feud. That's right. Yeah, we are going to play the feud. We're going to figure out what pitchers are in your pool and which pitchers are not in your pool. Myself and Kirkwood will participate. It's also a giveaway Friday. We're going to be giving away, if you guys aren't aware, we talked about it yesterday, myself and Blender, if you missed the opening day show. And opening day, we wanted to kind of dig through a whole bunch of stuff and kind of give like the synopsis and like this is your first time at baseball. And it can be a little bit overwhelming. You can't kind of go through everything. But Blender did a nice walkthrough of like 20 minutes or so when it comes to SimLabs. If you're not aware, SimLabs, it's the expert DFS lineup generation tool from RG, from Fantasy Labs as well. You probably used it for basketball. It's now available for baseball, and it's in beta. And the reason why it's in beta, well, yeah, they're still kind of figuring stuff out. But here's the thing. As it's in beta, it is free. You can build, hundreds of well-built correlated lineups for whatever contest you're playing. You can manipulate if you want it for like a small size contest, large field contest, single entry, that kind of thing. And you can talk about how ambitious you want to be when it comes to embracing variance or running away from it. And if you like, I want Dodger stacks. I want 150 lineups of Dodger stacks. You can get that. I don't want any Dodger stacks. I want to throw them out. I want to be a little bit different, which is fine. It's baseball. So you can just sort of like plug in. It's really quick, and you can get a pile of lineups. And you see 150, you say, I want that one. I don't want that one. I want that one. And you can whittle it down to 20 or how many lineups are rolling out today. Again, that is free. You can go ahead and drop that link in chat for the people, and it's probably in the description as well. But it's not going to be free forever. It's going to be a part of, RG Premium, which RG Premium get basketball, golf, baseball, college basketball, which is going on right now, NHL, MMA, MLB, everything with the exception of NASCAR, which is pretty much a la carte. And if you want to commit to 6 months of that, you would get $250 off if you were to actually, like every single month, pay the monthly price. That'll be $469.99. And if you don't like commitment, if commitment's not your thing, go ahead and get yourself a 3-day pass for $19.99. All right, got the plugs out of the way. Going to let the people know about the SimLabs. But yeah, let's play the feud. Kirkwood, you've seen the Family Feud. You know how this works, right? We're not a family, but we're playing solo. We're playing. It's just us. We're the entire family.
It's little Steve Harvey.
Sure. I mean, yeah. We're trying to guess. Well, TJ, tell us this. Are you running out 20 laps today? How many laps are you running out?
I'm running out 3. I'm doing the cheese today, and I'm just entering as much as I can in as many different places. So I am, except I'm not doing a single entry, I am playing 320 lineups today. I'm maxing 2 different mini maxes, and then I'm doing the $4.20 entry max as well.
Does the baby already have an account? How do you get how many lineups?
I literally just explained it. So I'll be MMEing in 1 mini max. I'll be MMEing in another mini max, and then I'll be playing $20 in the $4.20 entry max.
All right. So that means, all those lineups. It opens up a lot of pitchers you could potentially roster. We're looking at, is it 9 games? I think it's 9 games. Is that correct? 18 pitchers throwing baseballs tonight. Do you want to tell us how many are officially in your pool so we know what we're shooting for as far as the board?
Yes, I can. And it is a 8-game slate. 8-game slate today, and there are 8 pitchers in my pool.
Okay, so like 8 clearly in the bucket, and 8 pretty clearly not in the bucket. All right, Kirkwood, I will yield. I will yield to you. Tell us one of those 8 pitchers that's on the board for TJ's Family Feud starting pitchers he's rostering today.
Nick Pivetta.
Ding, ding, ding. Nick Pivetta is in the pool.
That was a layup. Don't get too excited. Of course, Nick Pivetta. It's going to get a little trickier as we progress. But current ownership right now on Pivetta.
Was there any need to just say that right there?
Well, you were over celebrating. You were
just putting me down. You can't let a man live over here for guessing one right off the bat.
It's like saying I like the Dodgers today. Oh, really? Like, congratulate. Like, of course, TJ's gonna have Dodgers in his pool, right?
I think it was the perfect first guess because it would be foolish to not take one of the top plays on your first guess.
That's how you do it right there. That's how you do it, Dean.
Well, TJ is Canadians are much nicer, apparently. He's much classier than I am. Who wants to tell me why? Well, I guess, TJ, you can tell us. Tell me this, Kirkwood. Why did you guess? You probably have some insight. I know he was pretty good in spring training for whatever that's worth. Some people care about that, some people don't, and it's kind of individual. Sometimes it matters, sometimes it doesn't. It's on your Boston Red Sox. Is he somebody that you like as well this evening?
Yes. I just lost my thing. Yes, he's it's the 31% K rate last season. His walks are down. I mean, his walks are iffy, so that's the problem there. But he pitched very well. He was great in spring training. It's all about the strikeouts. So Pavetta's on the board, and I'll even throw out another one. Can I guess another one?
Sure.
And you're going to put this down, but and how do I say it? How do we say AJ?
It's Puck.
Puck, yeah. AJ Puck's on the board for sure.
It makes me want to. I thought it was Pook, and I had this pun lined up that it makes me want to Pook. That he is. I haven't ran any lineups yet, but I think he's going to be my highest owned pitcher today.
I'm a little bit concerned about the pitch count.
I think they'll be 1 and 2. They'll be 1 and 2 for me, I believe.
So those were two great guesses. Wouldn't you say that, TJ?
Yeah, as my 2 highest owned guys, that's 1 and 2 on the board in Family Feud. So I don't see why it wouldn't be.
Bang.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, and now you're just fishing for compliments on, if you've read any content here at RG, and I imagine you did as well, Kirkwood, you probably did some as well, but yeah, that's no surprise. Puck is on the board. Dave Potts, Cheeseisgood, he's a big fan of him as well. I see you actually have him on FanDuel as your number 1 pitcher, Kirkwood. I'm looking at our current rankings right now. Myself, Napster Man, Dave Potts, Cheeseisgood, we all did rankings. Consensus wise, he's third on the board. That's for FanDuel. I can jump over to DK. He's third on DK as well. But Puck is his thing is like a history of arm issues. Pitched mostly out of the bullpen last year, maybe exclusively out of the bullpen. I'm not sure exactly. But I'm concerned he's not going to go too far right out the gate. They were pretty they kind of babied, Luzardo yesterday to some degree. The Marlins are dealing with a lot of pitching injuries as is coming at, to start the season. He, legit arm. He was traded last year straight up for JJ Bleday with Oakland. I like the talent. I'm just a little bit concerned about what his pitch count's going to be. I'm trying to find what we're projecting his pitch count to be. Do you happen to have that in front of you, TJ, by chance? I think it's on Lineup HQ, but I'm having issues scrolling over. This is kind of tripping me up.
So here's what you have to do. I had that same issue today, and I figured it out. If you have this wasn't this way this year, last year in Lineup HQ, but you notice how the pitchers and all the hitters are there together now.
Yes.
In HQ. If you take out pitchers, you can see the lineup position of the hitters. If you add the pitchers back in, you can't see that. But if you remove the hitters, then all of a sudden you can see the pitch count for those guys as well. So it's 78 in the bat, which is the same as Stripling's. I'll switch to the RotoGrinders projections, and it is 81 for him, 5 more than Stripling at 76.
Which should be enough, and it's kind of baked into the price, right? Like he's kind of a step down as far as the price. You got O'Neill Cruz in there, who strikes out 50% of the times against lefties. Like, he's an awesome bat. Yesterday, I thought he was a terrible play. He struck out, I think, at least once, possibly twice. He wasn't doing good until they brought in Sixto Sanchez, who was first major league pitch in like 3 or 4 years. A one-time Uber prospect for the Marlins. A lot of injuries there. He gave up a homer to tie the game there against the Marlins. I love seeing O'Neill Cruz in there because he just strikes out so much and pull up the plate IQ. Great power, super talent. But I love picking on. You don't want a guy that can, it's like a 10% strikeout guy. We're looking for K's. K's are king. Otherwise, I'm trying to see the rest. Michael A. Taylor.
Am I looking at the wrong thing? Am I looking at the wrong numbers? Last season, O'Neill against lefties, 14%.
That can't be correct.
Then something's wrong with mine. 21.2% versus righties. That's what I'm looking at.
I'm not sure. I'm seeing only 7 at bats there for some reason, and I don't know why that looks wrong. That is not correct. He had more than 7 at bats versus lefties last season, unless I'm just losing my mind. Maybe I extended it to like his career. I might have extended to his entire career when I was looking this up. That's certainly possible as well. But TJ, elaborate on Puck as I confirm the O'Neill Cruz numbers.
Cheap, a lot of talent. I don't really care about the pitch count early in the year because we're not going to see that many guys go up over 100 pitches anyways. And so that's basically it for me. It's the same reason I wanted to play some Crochet yesterday. It's cheap. He's cheap with a lot of arm talent. Strikeouts are king. So he might give up a bomb or two. I'll play Pittsburgh as well. That is who he's going up against, right? Going up against Pittsburgh. So I'm going to get to him at probably the highest rate on the slate just because he's cheap and I think he can get there with K's. That's kind of all there is to it for me, if I'm being honest. Projects well, cheap. I'm in.
So, last year, Cruz got hurt really, really early. He did only have like 40 at-bats in total. I stretched it back for his entire career when I was digging into this. I'm pulling it up now. Yeah, so his entire career, he struck out versus lefties 52% of the time, which is an insane number. Just insane. His WRC plus is 51, which is, WRC plus 100 is the average, right? If you're a 100, you're an average baseball player. If you're a 90, you're 10% worse than the average player. 51 is horrendous. That's like, I don't know, Tim Anderson last year, basically. Tim Anderson might have been lower. But again, this is small sample stuff. But his splits so far in his career have been dramatic. Much, much, much better versus righties. So, and that's also in part why he's in the 6 hole as opposed to, higher up in the order. I'm glad you called that out, Kirkwood, because that was kind of confusing. But the plate IQ is correct. But it was just a small.
We can't go past last season in there. Is that correct?
Yeah, you can. And as the season progresses, I kind of like to combine the two, like current and last.
But I'm just saying the capabilities
as last year, and he's kind of an outlier because he didn't play much last season. But trust me, that is misleading in the plate IQ. He gets 7 at bats, 14% strikeouts. He struck out one time in 7 at bats versus lefties. But and I assume he's going to be better than a 52% strikeout guy versus lefties going forward in his career. Like he kind of has to, but that's still like it's great to see him in the lineup for Puck. Am I up, Kirkwood? Or are you just going to like run the table here as far as guessing who's on the board on TJ's Family Feud board?
No. I mean, I haven't passed it. I have what? Do I keep going until I?
Sure, keep going. I've watched Family Feud before. I know the rules. I just wanted to make sure you wanted to. Let's go for 3 in a row.
This one I'm not 100% sure on, but I'm going to say Bobby Miller.
Double checking. I was just adjusting some things with stacks, and ding, ding, ding. Bobby Miller is in the pool, projected to be my second lowest owned pitcher.
Tell me why you like Bobby Miller.
I don't really, but I do think there's upside. There's the price is reasonable at $9K. I think we can get 15 to 20 points from Bobby Miller today. St. Louis, I'm not super worried about it, but they're also pesky. Like they're not a great real life lineup, but they're a pretty good DFS lineup. Not even a good DFS lineup, but just annoying to go up against. Zach Thompson under 4.5 strikeouts. I actually wrote that up as well in my Prize Picks article that I dropped in chat earlier today. So shout out to my guy Chief. I dropped that article. I got a free article, MLB Prize Picks plays. You can find that one included in the article as well. I don't really like Bobby Miller, but I'm not confident enough in that to full fade him. That's why he's on the list, but my second lowest owned pitcher.
He's coming in at checking our ownership stuff right now. By the way, Puck currently 18% on DK. This stuff is fluid. This stuff will change. Pavetta 18% as well. You got a roster 2 on DK, 1 on FanDuel. FanDuel, you want that QS, and that's one reason why I don't really love Puck over there. Certainly you can play him, but the other part is, as TJ kind of pointed out, a lot of guys aren't going to get to the QS, aren't going to get the quality start because getting the 6 innings right at the gate is pretty tricky. Not everybody fully stretched out. And as far as Miller's ownership on DK right now, we got him at 14%. Whenever you want to keep going, feel free to keep knocking them out there. Kirkwood, who else do you want to nominate?
I like this one, so we'll see. George Kirby.
Ding, ding, ding. George Kirby is in the pool. Mid-range guy for me, right in the middle. I think he's probably has in my opinion, the second highest ceiling on the slate. I do like Rafael Devers as a one-off today going up against George Kirby. But I think Kirby is probably just the top raw points option on the slate.
Just an incredible control pitcher. His walk rate last season, 2.5%, which is just, that's amazing. That is spectacular. Now the K rate's not amazing. It's fine at 22.7%. I think it could increase. Eric in chat talking about Kirby under a walk is plus money. That's interesting. Yeah, I would want to see the lineup here he's going to be facing, but he will definitely have starts where he walks nobody. Again, that walk rate at 2.5%, just spectacular. Where do you have him ownership-wise, TJ? I'm not sure if you mentioned it or not. We currently have him at 26% on DK, currently the second most popular pitcher there, and I want to see where we have him at FanDuel. Probably something similar. Well, can't be similar, but comparable.
I have him at 10 to 20% over there. But I also do want to say that we are over 50 likes on YouTube. So that means it's time for Spidey Bomb number 1. And what reminded me of this is Kirk's guy, Butthole Jenkins, says
Woo!
Jake Berger is a must start tonight. And I could not agree more because Jake Berger is Spidey Bomb number 1 today, plus 410. You can get him on Bet Rivers, I believe, is the best thing. And then 370 over on DraftKings as well. So get you some Jake Berger tonight. Me and Butthole Jenkins are on the same page. As is
maybe producer Steve can throw this up there, but you can't unsee it once you see it. But like Jake Berger looks just like, if you guys know the comedian Shane Gillis, they are like doppelgangers. If you can get that up on the screen, they are very, very similar looking. Yeah, I don't know if you guys are aware. But maybe we can get this on the screen and see if the people can decide. They look very similar to me, at least. Okay. You're going to keep going? You're going to sweep the board here, Kirkwood, or what?
I mean, Bobby Miller, the more I think about it, the more I really like Bobby Miller. Let's
talk it out.
I mean, what? I mean, he throws 100 miles per hour. He's got like a lot of upside. His we don't know what we're going to expect yet this season. I think he's going to be incredible this year. I think this is going to be a huge year for him. So I like that. But if TJ's kind of has him like second lowest own of his, then maybe a lot of other people are doing the same thing. That's all I'm thinking. But
you just had me. That was enough to get me to bump him up to the same amount as Kirby.
Let's see here. I mean, my question is do you have Merrill Kelly in there?
I do. I actually like Merrill Kelly more than Bobby Miller and more than George Kirby today. He is my highest owned, high-priced pitcher.
Swept the board so far, Dean.
Well, I mean, I don't know
if you've been watching or not, but you know.
I mean, these are all kind of layups. It's only going to get tricky on like 7 or 8, but you know, it's pretty.
To be fair, there's 2. We're what, 5 for 5 right now. There's 2 that I might consider just taking off the board entirely, dropping it to 6.
So this is what TJ does. He changed the rules in the middle of the game. He's notorious for
I
doing
didn't
this.
change any rules. There's as soon as you figure out what I mean by that, it's a pretty clear someone else adjusting the rules for me.
There's a lot of tinkering.
I've never watched Family Feud. There's 8 answers on the board, and out of nowhere, 2 answers disappear. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but if there's a whole bunch of rain and wind that wipes 2 of those answers right off of the board, I can't control that.
Okay, so you're saying that Logan Allen and Ross Stripling are both in your pool. We should discuss that. We should have that conversation.
They're both the two of the 3 best cheap options under 8K outside of Puck. Stripling obviously all the way down at 5.5. I don't want to play Stripling. He doesn't strike anybody out. Cleveland doesn't strike out very much, but he's 5.5. And so if he gets over 5 innings and doesn't allow more than 1 or 2 runs, he's probably going to have a decent enough game, especially on a site like this where there might not be a single pitcher over 20 points today. It's very possible that there's could be 8 different pitchers within 15 to 20 points, and that's it. And so I have Stripling in the pool because he's so cheap. Allen, I think, has a lot more upside. Not to compare him to Bieber, because Bieber, I think, is ready to have a really big season because the velocity's up. He's pitching much better. But Logan Allen facing Oakland, I think there is a ton of upside there. It's just the rain that worries me. Now, I do think, based on what Roth just tweeted, I'll read it out. It's absolutely pouring with more to come over Oakland for the next few hours. It's a real gully washer, a true toad strangler, a bona fide turd floater. But
you're adding color to that. That's not really what the tweet says.
This is word for word what is in Roth's tweet.
That's
it won't last
amazing.
forever. But if we can manage the next few hours without a postponement, it looks better by first pitch. Forecast link coming soon. Early season tech gremlins on the weather page. Now, so what I understood by that is basically it might get rained out before the game starts, but if it doesn't, then it's probably going to be fine. And so I kind of want to keep them in the pool because of that. The scary part is that game is at 10:10, and so at 9:40, and so there isn't anybody other than Bobby Miller to really adjust to. I don't want to play. Who's pitching for the Dodgers? Who's pitching for the Giants today? I don't want to
Harrison.
I don't want to play Joe Musgrove.
Come on, man. Play some Harrison. Harrison's okay.
Yeah. He's got a live arm.
I just go and I don't want to not against the Padres. I don't want to mess the Padres against lefties. That's kind of my thing. I'll mess with the Padres with righties all the time. Not against lefties.
Last season, my number one gutless rankings was the San Diego Padres. Until we see different this season, go for it. This kid has massive upside talent. The problem is his command could be absolutely brutal. We don't know, but he's very capable of going out there and mowing this whole lineup down. That's in the range of possibility.
I guess the Pavetta one's at the same time too, so they'd probably be able enough to switch to Pavetta and add Harrison as well in that scenario.
Do you have the entire Gutless Power Rankings released? Do you wait a couple months into the season?
Unfortunately, after talks with Brass at RotoGrinders, like a lot of other things, it's behind the paywall this season.
Oh,
so, yeah.
I mean, I have premium, so send me a link. I'm curious to see it.
No, it's like a Stevie. It's like a Stevie TPF. It's like a NASCAR. It's an a la carte piece. Yeah. You think people are going to pay for the Gutless Rankings a la carte? I mean, we did a quick email launch, and I'm telling you, the numbers are crazy. Everyone's signing up.
Can I get a 3-day pass? Possibly, is that something I can get?
Yeah, I might give you a free day trial.
Yeah, get me hooked, get me into it, and then all of a sudden I'll be back. Stripling is really hitting optimals, and his projection is what is his projection? Is that 6 points? He's still hitting optimals. Is that what I'm seeing? Am I looking at this correctly? Have things changed on me? I can't imagine playing Stripling.
10.45 points.
Yeah, I was just reading something wrong. I'm not really sure what's going on there, but okay. Like you said, TJ, he doesn't strike out a lot of people. He's not going to go deep either. I think he's got one of the lowest pitch count projections of the day. He's old. How old is Ross Stripling's got to be like 37 or something?
12.86 fantasy points for the bat.
The bat must love him. That's a Cardi play.
That's who did he used to always do that was so cheap? Not Corbin.
Was it Martin Perez many years ago?
No. There was somebody and then he actually became somewhat good. It was like a Met. Somebody on the Mets.
Somebody in chat will remember.
He would always recommend him.
One of the McGills?
Like the lowest K rate ever, like always.
David Peterson?
No. He's not on the Mets anymore.
Wasn't it like Matt's?
I don't think it was Matt's.
No. That's too this is like I can't believe I can't. I'm losing my mind. I'll look it up later and figure it out.
The chat saying Quintana possibly? Was it Jose Quintana? I don't think it was Quintana.
No.
Odor was the offensive player. Derek's saying Odor.
A Y is coming to me. Something like a Y is coming to me in my head.
Yarbrough?
Oh, Jason Vargas.
Yes, Vargas. There it is. Answer. That was the bat's favorite for like a whole season. And then also playing 2K, Chris Davis. the bad kept recommending.
They were both at the bad Chris at the end. They were both the bad Chris Davis. You remember Chris Davis for Baltimore, Chris Davis for Oakland. FanDuel made the Baltimore Chris Davis like $600 one day, and they were really trying to tempt you. It was so bad at the end. I think Baltimore's still paying him. Good for him. So are we done with the names? If we're wiping out the Oakland,
we're missing one. You're missing one.
Did we say? I guess I can't swoop in. I gotta let I need a.
It's gonna be Musgrove. No, because he would have talked about the pivot.
You got to commit.
Potentially,
you can't float it out.
Hold on. I'm gonna nail this.
You're gonna get buzzed. Jenner said there's time constraints. It's part of the key, the strategy of the game.
I'm gonna go Musgrove, but I think that's stupid because he would have had that pivot to talk about, or potentially bump up more Musgrove ownership.
No Joe Musgrove today.
They're gonna swoop. I'm gonna swoop in and say one answer and win the board. Or he doesn't get 3 shots. Does he get 3 cracks at this thing?
No. You swap after an X.
No, you're good. You steal.
No, I don't remember. I don't recall if he was mentioned. Was Merrill Kelly mentioned?
Yes,
he was already on the board.
Okay, I don't see the board. Unfortunately, I don't see the. I have the show up, and unfortunately, we don't have a board to actually look at. Kirby was mentioned. Pavetta was mentioned. Puck was mentioned. Miller. Ooh, okay. So it's not Musgrove. I'll work backwards. It's not Quantrill. It's not Martin Perez. It might be Savali, but probably not. It's not Harrison. It's not Thompson. It's not Javier. I don't think. It could be Gradone, but probably not.
It could be Javier.
It could be. It could be the Bassett, the Hound, Chris Bassett. I don't think so, though. Maybe he's kind of a. Well, who's your?
That's a homer pick. That could be a home. That could be a homer pick.
It could be a homer pick. Maybe it's the Hounds. Maybe it's Chris Bassett. It's probably one of the pitchers in that game. I'm going to say Chris Bassett. That's what I'm going with, TJ.
Ding, ding, ding. Chris Bassett is the answer. I don't even really think it's a homer play. It's just the fact that he has a 50%, 51% ground ball rate to right-handed bats. He only has 100.103 ISO to right-handed bats. And if you look at the Tampa Bay Rays lineup today, there's Brandon Lau, who I love as a one-off. Are we worried about Ben Rortvet or Richie Palacios batting 5th today? Not really. Everybody else is right-handed. Bassett is elite against righties. Not elite with strikeouts, but elite in real life against right-handed bats. And that's basically all we have to deal with tonight. I think he is just as likely to get 20 points as any other pitcher on the board.
All right. If Bassett's in the optimal,
here it is.
I will streak Fenway Park opening day.
And TJ, you got to bail him out since you kind of indirectly the one forcing him to do this.
I mean, it's going to be my yeah, I guess if I win a GPP, I would help bail him out.
Well, that's a heck of a qualifier.
What am I going to prioritize his own decision to get himself in jail over my new child if I don't win a GPP?
I'll be in and out. I'll have it all set up. Bobby Gomes will be there to bail me out right away.
Oh, Bobby's your guy? He's your one phone call?
Because he's connected to the police and he's also connected to the mob lawyers. So he's got,
What are you saying?
He's a made man, and he's a made man in here in Boston, the North End.
Do it that like
made man. Bobby's a made man.
Bobby in chat says he will. He's willing to. He might be a little bit behind. He probably didn't catch the rest of that. He's probably gonna listen to it right now. But Bobby says he's willing to bail you out. All right, he's a good friend.
Only 22 likes away from Spidey Bomb number 2.
We've got a great comment in chat. I think you get put on a registry if you go streaking these days. So that's something I'll need to iron out with the legal team first. That's the one caveat. I don't want to be a registered sex offender. I don't. Sorry.
By the way,
some people.
Nobody wants to be. We got the Mariners lineup. We're getting a lot of these late lineups coming in. Crawford, J-Rod, Polanco. Garver is basically going to be their – he's a catcher, but he's basically going to be their full-time DH. You got the big dumper, Kyle Raleigh, Haniger, France, Raleigh, and Urias. That is the Seattle lineup. Cleveland came in. We got Quan, Jimenez, J-Ram, Naylor, Brennan, Freeman, Naylor, Florial, and Rocchio? I'm not sure how to pronounce that dude's name. My apologies to the Rocchios. Oakland dropped their lineup for us. Ruiz, Geloff, Davis, Langoliers, Toro, Blade, Hernandez, Allen, and Butler. Lots of lineups coming in. Padres, Bogarts, the new leadoff hitter for San Diego. Tatis, Cronenworth, Machado, Kim, Profar, Campusano, Rosario, and Ozakar. We also have the Giants. Leah's leading off, Soler, Wade. You saw Wade get pinch hit for yesterday when a lefty comes in. Get used to that. They have a new manager there. I was curious how much the pinch hit stuff they're going to do, but that kind of makes sense. If lefty comes in, he would probably get hooked. Chapman, Flores, Conforto, Estrada, Bailey catching, Ahmed doing playing good defense at shortstop. So, yeah, bunch of lineups coming in. Anything weird there, Kirkwood or TJ? You guys see it? So it seems all pretty standard. Unless I missed something.
Flores,
I think they look
don't
basically.
think we had projected in the lineup for the Giants. I think that's somewhat interesting. I like righties targeting Musgrove, so I don't mind. I don't mind that a little bit getting some Flores.
Still waiting for Dodgers, Cardinals, Diamondbacks, Rockies, and I think Boston. Waiting for Boston as well. So 5 more waiting to come in. Dodgers going to be popular. Diamondbacks going to be popular. Those are the highest team totals on the board. Arizona with a 5.5 team total projection. The Dodgers over 5 is they're going to be over 5 basically all season long. I don't think anybody else is above 5. Some in the 3s, many in the 3s. That Houston at New York game, that seems like an interesting pivot. They're both kind of mid-4s when it comes to projections. Kirkwood, you played the feud. You threw out a bunch of names. Have you figured you don't make nearly as many lineups? You don't have 320 lineups. You probably have one main lineup, and that's it. What are we firing off today as far as pitchers you're locking in on? I think where I'm kind of at is working backwards. Like there's these 4 or 5 pitchers I'm willing to play, and whichever ones fit with like whatever offense I'm doing. I think that's how I'm going to do it. I don't really have a high priority. 1 through 5, I'm good basically. Do you have anybody clear cut? Like this is the guy I want for sure. I know you pumped up Pavetta earlier. Like him, he's in the bucket for me. But how are you handling pitchers? Are you definitely playing one, or it's like whichever one kind of like makes everything else work?
I'm playing puck everywhere.
Okay.
And then I'll mix. I'll use Pavetta as my favorite. I'll use Bobby Miller. I might make Bobby Miller my favorite. And after just thinking about it and thinking that his ownership will be potentially pretty low, I might play some Kyle Harrison.
The puck numbers probably again a little bit skewed as far as the K rate. He's got the biggest K rate in the slate. We look at the numbers last season, but a lot of that was out of the bullpen. If not all of it was out of the bullpen. In 56 innings, 32.2% as far as the K. So swinging strike rate, awesome as well, 15.1%. And pretty good control too at 5.4% as far as the walks. Reminder, we have Kevin Roth coming on in about a half hour or so. Roth will let you know what's going on weather-wise out there in Oakland, any sort of update if he can give one. He did tweet one out that TJ referenced. If you're playing basketball tonight, we got Taylor Smith covering that. We just made the decision to cover baseball early, basketball late. For crunch time, we're going to cover both. So stay tuned for that. The chat, not necessarily loving puck today for whatever reason, kind of back and forth. Rock is asking where NBA is.
Pitch count concerns for sure.
That's my concern. And it's a little bit concerned for FanDuel again because he's almost, I don't want to say definitely, but I don't. Go ahead.
But there's pitch count concerns for everybody.
Sure, but like you expect him to throw less pitches than Merrill Kelly and less pitches than Pavetta or Kirby.
Correct.
It's only we're talking like 10 pitches, most likely. But that could be the difference between getting the quality start and not getting the quality start for playing on FanDuel. You want that QS if you can get it. You don't need it, but you'll certainly be happy with it. Do we have any bets, TJ? I know you kind of talked about your article. Anything you want to throw out to the people? I see Eric's talking about puck over 5.5 Ks, and I think that's an interesting number. I just, I couldn't quite go for that, but I think I'm not going to say to bet the under, but it's a stay away for me. Anything, any thoughts on puck or just in general?
I do have some bets. I do have some bets coming for today, but we got 86 likes. I need at least 100 before I drop them. We got Spidey Bum number 2 coming at 100 likes, and then I'll also go through my prize picks plays, go through some of the other home runs bets I made today that are a little bit more obvious. Our guy Daryl George in chat says he thinks Corbin Carroll is going to be a Spidey Bum. That's a little bit too on the money. I think he's probably just the top bat overall on the slate, maybe behind Mookie Betts.
Spidey loves the chalk, though. He might go with.
So Spidey does not. The Spidey does not love the chalk. He's only way he's on DFS chalk is if they've got a good betting line. But I did bet Corbin Carroll, not a Spidey Bum today, though. So let's get these likes up a little bit more, get them up over 100, and we got number 2. And then we got well over 300 people watching on YouTube, over 800 people watching on total. Keep smashing them up. Keep getting them up there. I'll drop a Spidey Bum every 50 likes. We have reached 100, so that means number 2. I told you I'd get a little sneakier with it, Dean. I told you that with the second one. And we also got our guy Will in chat saying don't sleep on Toronto today. And our sneaky Spidey Bum number 2, it is Dalton Varsho, looking much stronger with his approach this year. I was excited about him last year. Guy just decided to strike out at every single high fastball he saw. Managed to get better later in the season, was an absolute stud defensively. But Dalton Varsho is going to have a much better season with the bat, and he is Spidey Bum number 2 today.
Possibly the legs as well, because what spring training, he had 6 or 7 stolen bases or so in spring. But typically you don't see guys, a veteran just running a bunch, stealing a bunch of bags, converted catcher now out there on the outfield. Curious what his stolen base prop is today, but yeah, he was stealing a bunch in spring training, and you don't really do that, I don't think, in spring training unless you're thinking about stealing bases. When the games start counting for real. Let's talk stacks, Kirkwood. I can pull up your rankings, up on the site, and myself again, Napster. As well as Dave Potts, Cheeseisgood. So we all have a pretty similar rankings as far as our stacks. It's 6 teams. We rank 5, so the consensus is pretty strong. Haves or have-nots, of course, any given day, right? But Arizona and the Dodgers are basically 1-2. I think if there's no gap here, but there's probably a gap there. And then Houston, New York, the Yankees. The Mets have already lost today. Sorry, producer Steve. And then the Padres, and then a little bit of love for Toronto. And that was not TJ, but TJ probably excited to see the Blue Jays on the board. Napster put them 5th. Talk about that, Kirkwood, as far as your rankings today when it comes to stacks.
All right.
Do you have Arizona? Oh, go ahead.
I do like Arizona, but if you look at the bat, and if you trust the projections, as everyone loves to say, in the BAP Discord or the MLB Discord, then you look at home, then you just go right to just filter by the home run likelihood in the bat, and 3 of the top 7 are Yankees, right? Judge, Stanton, and Soto. So that's probably where I'll start for a single entry stack and try to work from there. See how low a pitcher I go, or if I just have to use who's that one 2K guy, the stolen base guy on the
you're thinking of Birdie to make the lineup. The Yankees just traded for John Birdie.
I'm talking about just doing a one-off 2K player to, you know what I mean?
You're thinking to do for the Cardinals. You're thinking
Victor Scott on the Cardinals. Yeah.
If you can find Victor Scott to lead the league in stolen bases, you get a crazy number on it. He's probably going to go back to the minors once the bar of Newt bar is hurt, so he's probably going to get sent back down. But Victor Scott, he's a legit. If he gets on base, he's going to steal. But again, he might not stick around very long. Is he still 2K? Yeah, it's not a great matchup, but if he's on, the thing is, it's like the old Cardinals. If you're old enough, like Ozzie Smith and who was the other Cardinal that they had several guys? Willie McGee. Yeah, you got to be really old for those guys. He played RBI baseball back in the day. Victor Scott and Mason Wynn are like the new version of that.
Dude, RBI baseball was the best game ever.
I mean, yeah, I played it once as an adult. Didn't
live up to the memories.
No, I thought of it better. I was like, oh man, this game was more fun when I was a child. But yes, Vince Coleman as well. I don't know if Vince Coleman was a part of those teams also, but yeah, and they had Jack Clark was their one big power guy. It was the Cardinals had a bunch of speed dudes, and Blue Rock was not a part of these teams. So yes, he was also a guy that stole bases for the Cardinals back in the day.
My favorite.
Yeah.
I used to love Mark Grace back then, and who was the hitter on the San Francisco, the pure swing, a lefty, I think.
Will Clark.
Yes.
Will the Thrill. So jump in here, TJ, as far as your stacks. And maybe that could be a part of our poll question today, something video game oriented. I don't know how we can make it. What is the best baseball? MLB The Show. We basically determine how old people are. MLB The Show or RBI baseball. Is there anything in between that? Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
Mike Tyson's Punch-Out was electric. Absolutely fabulous. Electric.
Yeah. TJ don't know about that.
Yes, I do, Dean.
Well, you don't know about figuring it out. Because this is before the internet, and How to Beat King Hippo when you figured that out on your own?
You realize that I
figured
existed
out,
and played video games before the internet, right?
You weren't.
I
like
figured out
zero,
warp
though, playing
zones
Mike
by
Tyson's
myself
Punch-Out.
and Mario.
I was 5, 6, 7, 8 playing Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. Yeah, I played NES and Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis all the time.
No, you played Super Mike Tyson's. You didn't play the original. There was a difference.
Yes, I did, Dean.
I gotta check the math on that. I don't know if the math checks out.
I would almost guarantee I was better at it as a small child than you were when you were playing too.
Why would you say that? It's a bold proclamation.
Because you're besmirching me right now, anyways, and I know for a fact I'm better than you in video games.
Justin the Luke saying MVP baseball. I don't remember MVP baseball. I might have missed that one, but yeah,
baseball stars.
I will say, Dean, since you did just ask about my stacks and then take it away from me again before I could answer, you also asked for some bets and then threw it to Kirkwood for stacks before I could give them. And so I will go through the prize picks article. And I have to word it that way since you and I are clearly against each other today. That's how we're running it. This is going to be a good show. But these are viable on prize picks or anywhere else as well. I have Corbin Carroll, Mookie Betts, Vladimir Guerrero, and Ketel Marte over or more than, depending on where you're looking, 1.5 total bases. I have Jake Berger, more than 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs. And then Kyle Harrison, less than 4.5 strikeouts. Additionally, I'll talk about some of my other home run bets today as well. I won't drop any more Spidey bombs, any more sneaky ones, but I was able to find some well-known players and, players in good spots that'll be somewhat chalky today as well that I like. So I got Vladimir Guerrero plus 400, Rafael Devers plus 400, Fernando Tatis, I actually found it plus 500 to hit a home run. Brandon Lau, another one, and finally Mookie Betts to hit a home run as well.
By the way, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, the original Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, release date September 18th, 1987. I'm pretty sure TJ was not 5 in 1987. Not certain.
Believe it or not, games actually can still be played after the year they came out.
Yeah, but then you figured out how to. Somebody else told you how to beat King Hippo. You didn't figure it out on your own.
Who in my life is breaking down King Hippo for me? The only games my older sisters would play were Mario and Donkey Kong.
I'm not sure, but I do think it's fun. I do like the picture of 5-year-old
now
playing 7-year-old.
The only game I can compete with. Well, actually, I was in a Nintendo, like one of those those tournaments, whatever, like a Nintendo Power, like Fred Savage, whatever that movie was.
Really? You were in the Fred Savage, the Wizard?
No, I was in one of those competitions that to get to the. I made it to the finals of like the regional, like in the Hartford Civic Center, but I didn't make it to go. If you won that, you got to go to Seattle for a trip to the finals. I lost, and I was crying for like a week.
You're not clutch.
It was Rad Racer, Tetris, and something else. Some Mario, and then where was I going with this though? Oh, Street Fighter 2. I can hang with people if you want to.
What is the one game, TJ, that you can beat anybody in? You're confident you can beat anybody in. You'll just throw on the gauntlet, and that's that.
Tetris.
You're a Tetris champ, but that's not really a head-to-head thing. But yeah, I guess you put a bigger score. Well, is there head-to-head Tetris?
Yeah. Yeah, and then it's like the faster one side goes, the more it builds up the other side. Absolutely is head-to-head Tetris.
I was more of a DDR guy, as Randall mentions there in chat. The old
I love DDR.
All right. How about goofy stacks? So there are 8 games going down tonight, TJ. By the way, we got the Boston lineup. Boston lineup has been unveiled. Let's go ahead and talk about that. I just had it up, and now I lost it. Yeah, Duran leading off, Devers, Story, Casas, O'Neill, Yoshida, Rafaela, Valdez, and the punt catcher McGuire for Boston. Are you getting a piece of every single stack? Is that the plan as of right now, weather permitting? Or are you thinning out and just saying, I only want these 8 teams. I'm going to be over the field on these 4. What is the plan of attack as far as your stacks?
So I'm not quite getting everybody on the slate. I did actually X out Cleveland and Oakland completely because of the potential weather. I just figured why, it's Cleveland and Oakland. Am I really going to need them anyways, even if that game plays? And so I just decided to take it out completely. I'm not getting any of those two. I'm not getting to any Tampa Bay, not getting to any Colorado, no Boston, no Seattle. I do actually feel like I want to get to Boston, though, since I'm pretty low on Stripling and he's going to be chalky. I think I do want to maybe load up on a stack or two instead of Devers. But if you're getting to Curvy, it's usually with solo home runs anyways. The stack, like, he's going to have to be really bad, and Babbitt's going to have to smoke him if he's going to have a bad if the stack's going to go off against him. So maybe I'll just up my Devers exposure. Maybe I'll get a couple more one-offs there. But as it stands, no full stacks. My highest owned, did I just get a new set of lineups coming in? Yes, I did. I have a three-way tie between my highest owned stack, actually. It's the Dodgers and Arizona, no surprise, but tied with them is the Miami Marlins. You brought up a great point, Dean, that it sounds like that roof is going to be open there in Miami, which means maybe one of the better weather games on the slate. And then just behind them, very close behind them, is Houston and New York, with Toronto, Pittsburgh, St. Louis, the Giants, and the Padres as kind of like my next tier. But Miami, the Dodgers, the Diamondbacks, the Astros, and the Yankees are my top five by a very large margin.
You mentioned the Boston thing. It's just hard to pick on Kirby because you talked about it. He doesn't walk anybody, not a big fly ball guy. His home runs last year were pretty much in check, 1.04 homers per 9. I like some of the Boston pieces, but it's like you said, if BABIP gods are not on his side, you can kind of implode that way. But otherwise, it's really hard to see like a massive blow-up situation for George Kirby. How about yourself?
Outman and yes, Rojas for the Dodgers lineup.
Wait, okay, go ahead and read the whole thing if you don't mind.
It's exactly what we projected. There's just Rojas instead of Outman. So it's
Taylor,
Betts, Ohtani, Freeman, Smith, Muncy, Hernandez, Taylor, Rojas.
Wait,
yeah,
Teoscar, then Kike.
Yeah, that's the
Teoscar
tricky
6,
thing.
Kike 7, Taylor 8.
We're going to get pinch hits in the Dodgers is kind of the tricky thing that's worth talking about as well. Chris Taylor seems like a candidate to get the hook. Kike Hernandez is a candidate to get the hook as well. We saw this the other day where we saw the other way where I think they brought in a lefty and the starters came out. The Dodgers, obviously really good team, lots of depth, and that's pinch hitting is it is annoying. Trying to see Gavin Lux not starting. Yeah, so Gavin Lux on that bench is a guy that can come in there. Not a great defender, but a better bat than some of those guys that cracked the lineup. How concerned are you for this, TJ? Or do you care, or it's just like, you're making your stacks and that's that?
I will still have them in stacks, but it's like Bobby says in chat, I will not have them in anything other than stacks. Those pinch hit risk guys, I'm actually not going to have any Rojas. And then Hernandez and Taylor, I'm only going to have in like Kike, that is, I'll only have in stacks. And then I'm going to be just absolutely loading up on 1 through 6 in that lineup.
Yeah, Rojas is not a great hitter, batting in the 9 hole. I think he's a pretty good defender, so he might stick around if the game's close for that reason. We got the Rockies, by the way. Blackman, Bryant, Jones, Rogers, McMahon, Diaz, Tovar just got a big contract. Montero and Doyle. All right, so we're still waiting for the Diamondbacks. We should get the debut of Jock Peterson. Didn't play last night because of the lefty starting. Jock Jams, another one that might potentially get the hook if a lefty comes in. I meant to check and see how many lefties are in that Colorado bullpen. I always like to know, obviously the more that are out there, the more likely he'll see one, the more likely he'll get pinch hit for. And a lot of this stuff is situation dependent. I don't think they have a lot. Yeah, just one lefty. There's just one lefty for Colorado, Jalen Beeks. So righty starting in Quantrill, you're probably going to get, and Beeks worked yesterday, but everybody worked yesterday for that Colorado bullpen because the starter imploded. They had 4 guys. Let's see. Vodnik threw 46 pitches. He probably doesn't come back tonight. Molina threw 31. So there's several other pieces, but Beeks did work yesterday and throw 23 pitches. Not saying you wouldn't pitch him back-to-back games, but there's only one lefty there, and he worked kind of hard yesterday, so maybe they wouldn't force it unless they absolutely needed him in a pinch. So that makes you feel pretty good about Peterson, and he's going to hit a homer in the first inning of the second inning anyway, so everything after that, who cares? You have anything to add to that, Kirkwood, as far as the pinch hit stuff, or maybe like ambitious stacks, somebody we're not really thinking about? I think one of the pivots is the Yankees and Houston. Obviously, some really, really good studs in those lineups, but not the best ballpark. It's fine, kind of neutral. Carlos Rodon should be better than he was last year. Christian Javier, another guy who was fine last year, but kind of fell off a little bit, I think, as far as his Ks especially. But, two really good lineups that are not taking center stage today because of the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks. What's your thoughts as far as that, or anybody else you want to introduce as far as a stack consideration?
I'm playing. Yankees have moved up to my favorite stack now. But so I'm trying to make my lineup right now, and I need a cheap catcher. But so if people want to throw cheap catchers out, I'm all ears. But
Diaz in the same game, or do you need even cheaper?
I don't care. I'll play a catcher at just one off. I need
2,900.
Reese McGuire is 2-1.
I can't afford
20.
I have 2,500 unless I take Berger out, which I may very well do because.
Rortvedt, the lefty against Bassett at 2,500.
Yeah, former Twin. He looks like a jacked guy. You'd think he'd be able to smash the ball, but he's never done.
You can't afford Henry Davis?
No, what is that? How much
for the Pirates? Big time prospect.
2,500 unless I got to change third.
Betancourt's 2-2. Like the worst spot in the world to be home in the 9 spot.
What prices are you looking at? Isn't Betancourt 3K and Davis 3-1?
I'm looking at FanDuel. Yeah, my bad. You're right.
You know what? I actually have money. I have money in FanDuel that I deposited by accident. I thought I was going to the sportsbook.
Well, there you go.
I'll probably once I have a free afternoon, I'll start dabbling over there.
There's not a lot out there. There's not a lot of options as far as cheap catchers tonight. Reese McGuire is like the cheap of the cheap, and he's facing Kerber, and he's not great, but you never know. You can always. They're all professional hitters. They were professionally trained, but temper your expectations, obviously.
Yeah. Maybe I'll look at some Marlins.
I kind of like the Marlins a little bit tonight. I know. Remember back in the day, we used to pick on Martin Perez and trying to make those. You
can't win though. I don't think I. How many years have I been playing DFS, and I've stacked against him probably every single slate, and I can't remember a time I won stacking against him.
He would always get out of jams with his ground ball double plays. He would always just find a way. He's a good ground ball guy. But if you're watching the Astros yesterday, geez, what's the start? Frambar was awful. He got so lucky. He just kept getting out of jams. Couldn't throw strikes. He had like 6 or 7 walks. He just kept getting inning double plays. I had a fair bit of them. It just whatever he got, you were lucky to get. It was just weird to see how terrible his control was. But just one start. And the ballpark there in Miami is not spectacular. But again, I think it benefits a little bit with the roof being open. I just pulled it up 76 degrees, looks like, in Miami. Back panels are probably open as well. Not very often they open the roof in Miami because the humidity, if you've been here, it's not great. It's not a lot of fun, but this is the time of the year where they can actually open up that roof. Any questions, by the way, in chat? Feel free to chime in. And I see a lot of video game talk. Kirkwood, you're saying the number 1 game of all time is WrestleFest? I don't think I remember WrestleFest.
If you know. There's got to be someone out there who knows. If you used to play in arcades back in the day, a long time ago, I think you would know. But
I played some of the WWF ones. Oh yeah, I think I played. Yeah, I played it before.
This had Hogan, Macho Man. Yeah. It had like one man gang. It had them all.
Big Boss Man. I just pulled up apparently. Steven wants to know our favorite pitcher on DK. Favorite pitcher on DK. Kirkwood, I'll give this to you.
Favorite pitcher on DK?
Yeah.
Puck.
Yeah, all things considered, obviously. Yeah, I think people are going to step down to him and just because to open up that salary. TJ, you have a different answer? You got a new batch of lineups? Is anything kind of rising, or is it sort of condensed as far as your pitchers?
Fairly condensed, but Puck will be my highest own.
All right. Do we have a new batch of ownership? We do, as of like 7 minutes ago or so. Nothing really too drastic, and there's really nobody clearly coming out ownership wise, from the bunch, from the pack. Let's see. This is on DK. Our current ownership projection is 20. Well, we just got a new projections for more hitters. We'll get that in a second. But yeah, 28% for Kelly, 25% for Kirby, 25% for Fabetta, about 20% for Puck. I feel like Puck has gone up as the show has progressed. Going to go ahead and hit refresh because we have some new hitters coming in. Any more lineups come out? I know we're waiting for a few more. Have we seen anything else drop for us, TJ? Diamondbacks. There it is.
Yeah, Diamondbacks lineup is pretty normal.
Carroll leading off as expected. Marte, Gurriel, Walker. There is Jock Jams, Jock Peterson, DHing, batting fifth. Moreno, Suarez, Thomas, and Perdomo. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty standard, I think, right? Unless I don't think we're missing anybody, right? I don't think so. That's kind of what we expected. Maybe one of the back end guys, not necessarily what we expected, but what are we missing as far as lineups? I think we got everything but the Cardinals, and that's it, right? Just St. Louis. Am I correct in saying that?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, we got a Rockies a while ago. That I think that's everybody but St. Louis.
All right. Tonight's winning lineup. You want to hear it?
Well, you want to give the entire lineup away?
Yeah, I don't care.
Maybe leave one for mystery. I don't know.
All right. I got Pavetta, Puck, the mystery catcher.
I wonder who it could be. Somebody terrible.
Rizzo, chalk Yankees. Rizzo, just all the bangers. Rizzo, Torres, Soto, Stanton, Judge. One off Berger, one off Taylor, chalky. So this is like more like high dollar single entry stuff.
Is that a 5-1-1-1? Is that what I'm hearing? Or like a 4-1-1-1-1?
No, it's got 5 Yanks.
TJ, you want to reveal all 320 of your lineups?
No, I haven't got any of them yet, but lineup HQ's cooking right now. It's at 210 of 300. And then I think I might actually see if I can hand build the 20 with like my top 5 stacks, and just do 4 each of my top 5 stacks, but we'll see.
Daryl says to all of you, what team stack are you going to be playing this season no matter what? I don't really have
Dodgers. You play if you're playing lots of lineups, you play the Dodgers every night no matter what.
You're probably
Dodgers is like the best lineup in the history. The Dodgers is this the best hitting lineup in the history of baseball on paper?
I mean, I don't want to be
the
hyperbolic.
Best hitting lineup in the NL.
Wait, say it again?
It might not even be the best hitting lineup in the NL.
Braves.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, they're
both of them are just nuts. So it's like those two, anytime they're on a slate, if you're playing multiple lineups, you play them 100% of the time.
Yeah, I think the Astros is another interesting one I would throw out there just because the Dodgers, like, I guess there are circumstances that are hard to foresee right now and salary and all that kind of stuff, but I think the Astros are going to be on slates where they're just not going to be owned or not be terribly popular. And like, if you're playing the salary game, if you're making 10 lineups every single day, I think I might make an Astros lineup every, one of those 10 are the Astros. And, just because, especially the front end of their lineup, they do have some cheap guys. They can kind of make stuff work as well. Yankees are probably another one you could throw out there. But the obvious ones are, right, Dodgers, Braves, Phillies, right? The lineups that look, teams in cores. But, I know Will's in chat. Will doesn't like to play the cores game because of ownership stuff. Kirkwood, why is Kirk Gibson being mentioned in chat? What am I missing here?
Greatest Dodger hitter. I just know when I think about Dodgers, I just always remember that the homer on one leg.
Yeah, he had one at bat in the World Series, and he wasn't even expected to play against Dennis Eckersley, arguably the greatest closer of all time. And that is one of the bigger scenes, all time plays in World Series, all time things you see over and over again. But all right, let's see. We should have crunch time coming in momentarily. If you guys have showed up for basketball, you will get some basketball content. A little bit tricky to handle both. The slate locks at 6:50 on the East Coast for baseball, NBA, tons of games going on, lots of news dropping there. Again, that's just the way it's going to be for the next 2 weeks. I think it's 2 weeks till the end of the NBA regular season. That's the way to best handle that. Did we get a shout out to Kirk's guy? Who's your guy?
One Nut Colin.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's what he's referring to.
Yeah.
Shout out to Colin.
I hope he's doing well. Do you still keep in touch? You guys like Facebook friends?
No, maybe not. I don't think so.
All right. Well, I hope he's doing well. I didn't give my the dongs. I meant to release the dongs, and I know it. TJ, do we have 150 likes where you can give a third Spidey Bomb? Are we there just yet or not?
125, so we still need 25 more likes. If I'm still around, I'll drop it in chat, but we need 25 more likes for a third Spidey Bomb.
And Kirkwood, did you happen to unleash your Juggalo bombs? How many did we give to the people?
Didn't I give one earlier?
I'm asking. You got to keep account of this.
Yeah. So, well, I'm going to give, first of all, Juan Soto is going yard tonight. That's an easy one.
Oh, well, I mean, you give Spidey a hard time for being chalky, and you're going Juan Soto out the gate. Okay.
Look, I'm not. Sure. Yeah. Let's hope that my lineup would like that. Let's go with. Hate to be put on the spot like this, but I'm going to say Teoscar.
Put on the spot, Juggalo. This is your thing. You had to know this is coming. You're prepared.
Juggalo. No, this is a Spidey Bomb segment. That's
all right. I'm going to go ahead and drop the Dean Stones in chat as well as we bring in Crunch Time is knocking on the door. And I was going to say we play ball, but there's also
all right. I got one more though. Gurriel.
Okay. All right. You guys are taking all the good ones, but I'll get some of the scraps. Jock Peterson, Jock Jams. That's one of them, and I'll drop one more in the chat as we segue.
That was the third Spidey Bomb, so we'll share that one.
Yeah. Well, I thought we'll figure it out. We'll fight over it. We could both be correct, I suppose. Let's talk to Crunch Time. It is Kevin Roth. It is Taylor Smith. Taylor Smith's going to be covering some basketball. We got Dave Potts. I thought Derek Hart. Was this a late swap? We went to the right, to the lefty. Did I miss something?
Late swap. Yeah, he pulled a hammy or something on the bat there.
And Kevin Roth, by the way, it's a long season, Roth. It's a long season. You know this. You used up all the good adjectives in one tweet. You said it's a real gully washer, a toad strangler, and a bona fide turd floater in
That's
Oakland,
right.
which works great. I don't know if you did this on purpose, but like Oakland historically has had some issues with their bathroom and their plumbing, so that works out perfectly.
No, I didn't realize that.
That
It really is a turd floater. That's fantastic.
And they're a terrible franchise, so they won't fix such things. They don't care about that.
Yeah.
But we're a couple hours out on that as far as Oakland. But the update is still. Are we still orange there?
No, I dropped it down to yellow orange, so that's an improvement.
All right, not brown. We're going yellow orange.
Yeah, hopefully not brown. If it's brown, turn around. Yeah, we're in trouble.
Let's step aside and get out of here on that high note. It's TJ, it's Kirkwood. I was Dean. Do hit that like button, do subscribe, and don't go anywhere because you got Taylor Smith talking some basketball. You got Dave Potts, Cheeseisgood talking some baseball, and Kevin Roth, man of the ship, and chief meteorologist. If anything goes on, anything we need weather-wise, Roth is all over it. Roth, take it away.
Good stuff, as always. That's right. Be talking some turd floaters here as we move through the slate. We got another split slate. I think these go on for another couple weeks, Taylor. Is that right, of NBA?
Yeah, I think like mid-April usually is about when we wrap it up.
Very nice. So these times are fleeting and they are joyful and they are fun, but it's also kind of hectic. We got two sports to talk about. I would say interesting slates in both. And we're joined by two of the sharpest minds in the biz. Taylor here to help us out with some hoops. What is this? Like, is that a Punisher shirt? What is this, skull? Okay, just a little skull and crossbones.
Just a skull. Okay. Yeah, no Punisher,
okay.
None of that.
Okay. How you doing? Despite the negative, is it called a Jolly Rogers? Am I making that up?
Jolly
That's
Rogers.
like the pirate ship flag is known as the Jolly Roger. I don't think his shirt is known as a Jolly Roger.
You could probably put it on a flagpole and make it a Jolly Roger if you want.
Well, what the hell's the difference between the pirate ship flag and that thing, the skull and crossbones? Isn't that a pirate ship flag? Google.
I mean, he's partway there. It's pretty. The pirate ship flag is pretty official. If a pirate ship put that on, they would be chased down by other pirates.
All right, that's
I feel
fair.
like it has swords like in the background, like the Raider logo or something.
Yep.
Okay, that's fair. All right, we're learning things. Anyways, Taylor, how you doing? You feel good about this NBA slate?
Decent enough. A little more busy than last night, which is 2 games, so should be a fun one, Roth.
Okay, good. I'm down with that. A lot of people in the chat saying, hey, are we talking hoops? Are we talking hoops? Yes. But starting first, the first lock is actually baseball. So we're going to start with baseball, run through it with my guy Cheese, and then we'll get back to Taylor and talk some B-ball. Cheese, how you feeling about this baseball slate, my guy? How are you?
I'm good. I feel great about it. I would feel amazing if it was mid-season so that we knew we were getting what we're getting. Like, if we can just trust the numbers from last year as what they are, I think it's a great slate and kind of straightforward, and I like what I like. But I'll say that to say this is the second day of the year. All but a couple of these pitchers, it's their first start. So we can't be as sure of things as it's about to sound like I am. But that's what it is.
You mentioned that yesterday as well. Your flagpole statement was like, we will never know less than we do right now. How did it work out as far as what you thought was going to happen and how things actually shook out yesterday?
It was actually pretty much all the pitchers did exactly like all the good pitchers were good. It was surprisingly straightforward. There was still the offense was still a little bit as unpredictable as you would expect. But today's pitchers are just a little bit worse. Like, they're still good, but they're a little bit down the list a little bit. So I do expect a little more nonsense on the pitching side today.
Okay. And Taylor, are you going to be doing any baseball, or is it just Cheese doing baseball and you'll jump in for NBA?
I can answer the odd baseball question if they come in, if Cheese needs a breather or something,
and I think also what I'll point out that we'll do, so we'll go through the baseball, and then when you start doing basketball, if you guys have baseball questions, I will be in the RotoGrinders Discord in the live stream chat, and I can keep answering baseball questions in the chat while they're talking basketball. So feel free to continue asking baseball. But as we get up towards lock, we're going to try to save those last few minutes for basketball, which is a little more time sensitive.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Last thought that I will add here is it is a weather slate as well. Oakland has been the big game that I've been watching all day. Dean mentioned it's a real toad strangler. It's a turd floater there. But the heavy rain is already on the way out. And back behind that, it's just scattered showers. I think this game's going to play for two reasons. One, they didn't postpone it when it was absolutely pouring. And two, the weather looks pretty crappy tomorrow. So if they postpone it and try to do a doublehead tomorrow, they're going to find themselves in pretty much the same position that they are right now, which is maybe requiring some patience, maybe dealing with a delay, maybe a late start. It's my feeling that as long as the field is okay, and it's possible that the field got flooded, but as long as the field is in decent shape, I think they probably play. I would not say it's safe for pitchers because there still are some scattered showers. Could pitchers work out? Absolutely. They could play this game on time with no delay, and people are going to be like, I can't believe you had it orange. You're an idiot. But I've got it as yellow-orange right now. I've downgraded the risk. My official take is that I think they play. Cheese, does that work for you?
Yeah, so let me I'll kind of throw this in there before we start as it relates to the pitching. 5 of the 8 games actually start that late or later. So if you're playing, both pitchers in that game are cheap. So if you're playing one of those pitchers, make sure you also have at least one kind of expensive bat from later so you can do a double swap. Because if you need to swap off those pitchers closer to lock, you're going to have to spend up for that pitcher spot. So just make sure you have at least one bat left that you can swap down to make that work.
Okay. That's fair. The other thing that makes sense. The other thing that I'll add, there's a low chance of a delay in LA. It's low enough that like you just play pitchers, do whatever you are going to do in that game. I've got that as yellow-green or green-yellow or some combination of the two. I expect that game plays. That work for you, Cheese?
That sounds fantastic.
Okay, great. Dean wants to know the most important question, which is Cheese prepared to answer some NBA questions if Taylor needs a breather?
You know that I am. Yeah. Not even if he needs a breather, just if he says something jabroni-ish, like I'm all over it. Because I know nobody knows NBA like me, for sure.
It's true. Yeah. It's fun. Yeah, it's always a good time of the season. Okay, hey, we do have multiple sports, multiple slates to dive into. So, Cheese, without further ado, good sir, why don't you kind of jump into what we're doing on the pitching side?
All right. So essentially, I have 7 pitchers in my pool. It kind of seems like a lot, and yet still, I would rather be more spread out, being the second day of the year, the first start for most of these guys. The guys that do not make my pool that I think you're completely welcome to play would be Chris Bassett, Christian Javier, Aaron Savale, Kyle Harrison, Carlos Rodon. I'm not playing any of those guys. but you certainly can. I don't think you're doing anything wrong if you are. For me, the kind of expensive group is Merrill Kelly, George Kirby, Joe Musgrove, Bobby Miller. Out of those, I like Kirby and Kelly the best. However, I don't like those four any better than I like Nick Pivetta and AJ Puck, who are just cheaper. I suspect that's where the field is going to land, but it still should be spread out enough that I don't think it matters. So personally, I'm heaviest on Pivetta and AJ Puck. Just spend the money on bats. And then on DraftKings, I am playing Ross Stripling. He's in that Oakland game, and a little bit of Logan Allen also in that Oakland game.
It always, it interests me when I see two guys with the rainbow tag, essentially. All of our experts are saying Pivetta and Puck are great plays, and then their ownership is lower than the two dudes above them. And I always wonder, I'm like, I don't know. The players are pretty sharp. I don't know, Cheese.
Yeah, that's one of those, like, I do think Pivetta ends up as the highest owned, and I think Puck is the second highest owned. But I think it'll be close with Kelly, Kirby, some people mixing in like Musgrove and Bassett.
Fairly spread around.
But yes, I would say Pivetta and Puck are going to be the chalk.
Okay. Jerry says FanDuel cash, I guess your cash pitcher to build around, or is it just any one of those four?
Yeah, if salary is just no issue at all, I think I would lean to Merrill Kelly. But if salary is an issue, I would go Pivetta, and I would be honestly quite happy with Puck as well. So basically, Kelly, Pivetta, Puck is my cash game group on FanDuel. And Kelly and Kirby is like a 50-50 toss-up if you have the money.
Okay. And then on DK, you mentioned, those same guys spending up. I think you added Stripling.
Stripling as the super cheap guy.
Yeah.
He's only the 5,500 and I think viable in any format.
And that's it?
That's it.
Okay. Excellent. It did seem like a lot, but then when you broke it down, it didn't. You're right.
Yeah, it's not. That's how I feel about it. Like, that's a lot, but it's not a lot.
It was.
Yeah.
I expected that to go longer. Okay. Well, then with that, we turn the tides into talking about some of the stacks here. I don't know. Looking at some of the team totals here, Arizona 5.5. That's pretty nice.
Yeah. So your chalk is going to be Arizona and the Dodgers. I think Arizona more so than the Dodgers. Followed by the both sides of the Yankees-Astros game. Like, those four teams are very obvious. I do think because of the way the salaries work out, I think Arizona ends up as the chalkiest of the chalk. Past those four teams, we've got like bits and pieces here and there, like a couple Marlins bats, maybe a couple of Padres, but essentially it's Arizona, it's the Dodgers, and it's that Yankees-Astros game. That's your chalk, and that's also who I like. Kind of no surprise. I am overweight on the chalk, which, again, I don't love being the second day of the year. It's just like I feel like this slate looks obvious, which doesn't mean it's going to go that way, sadly, but that's how I feel about it.
Cheese, with four or maybe more good pitching options, and you mentioned four pretty good stacks that you could use, do you feel like there's not any overwhelming, like, this is a bad play kind of chalk with like a pitcher stack combo?
Yeah, there's no 50% own plays anywhere on either side. That's why I'm fine. When it's that much chalk, it's not really super chalky. So I'm playing what I like.
I love that. That is what I was trying to say there. Perfect. Okay, well, I think we run through around the horn, go position by position, and then we'll answer some QQs and we'll talk some hoops shortly thereafter.
All right. Catcher is mostly just a DraftKings thing. Will Smith, 4,500 is kind of a steal, even though that's not cheap. I think he's the play. Yainer Diaz, only 2,900, also kind of a steal. Those are really the only two cash game options in my book. I like a bunch of things in stacks. I also have a little Austin Wells on his own, and that's really it.
No big dumper? No Cal Raleigh, the big dumper?
He is certainly a tournament play, and certainly not he's a high strikeout bat facing a high strikeout pitcher.
Oh,
if he gets a hold of one, he hits it a long way, but he probably strikes out.
Okay. I just haven't gotten to say big dumper in 7 months or so. So I had to take
it's always a good time for it.
Yeah. All right. First base.
First base is good, but not super deep. We got Ohtani on DraftKings at first, and then Freddie Freeman on both sites. Even in a lefty, these guys are awesome. If you have salary just sitting around for whatever reason, play them. But I like Christian Walker and Anthony Rizzo every bit as much, and Josh Bell kind of close. So that's kind of my go-to trio: Walker, Rizzo, Bell. Throw a little Vlad and some Goldschmidt and Josh Naylor in tournaments, and that's really the position.
How about second?
Second's kind of strong tonight. It's much stronger than shortstop, which means on FanDuel, if I'm playing Mookie Betts, I'm probably playing him at shortstop, although he is a second baseman. Altuve is good as well. But like on the FanDuel side, this trio of Torres, Marte, and Brandon Lau is just too cheap. So that's where I'm landing on FanDuel. On DraftKings, Torres and Lau are cheap. I mean, cheaper. They're around 4K. So most.
Is someone going to answer
lineups,
that phone? Is someone going to answer that phone? Sorry, did I yell that?
Is there a phone? Oh,
You
goodness.
guys hear that, right?
No, that's not my phone. I thought anyhow.
Taylor, it's your phone, right?
I'm on mute. It's definitely not my phone either.
What's
It's a
that?
mystery call.
What is that? Am I crazy? Am I insane?
Steve
Am I
is on the phone right now as we speak.
losing my mind and just hearing things? No. All right. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah. So essentially, Torres and Lau are in the bulk of my DK lineups. Just their salaries are just enough better than Marte, Altuve, and Betts, and they're all kind of close.
Okay. Third base. That made me laugh. I just called to say I love you. All right. Third. What do we got?
Jake Berger. Love Jake Berger. And I do think like he's grading out as the most popular play. But I'm not concerned about it at all. I do like Jose Ramirez a lot. I like Manny Machado a lot. And I also like Rafael Devers, even in Kirby lineups. Devers is the kind of one-off play from a good team against a good pitcher that I want to play. And that's that.
Okay. This is going quickly. Shortstop. You're giving Taylor too much time.
I've heard that he has a lot to say. This is what I've been told.
He's not really long-winded, so we'll see about that.
Well, we can talk about his shirt more if it comes to it.
Okay, that works.
True.
Shortstop. Geez, what do you like?
So shortstop is the weak spot to me, which is why on FanDuel I want to play bets at shortstop anywhere it's at all possible. We also have Chris Taylor. We don't have a Dodgers lineup yet. I assume Taylor will be in. He is kind of a pinch hit risk, but I'm not certain that they're going to take him. Like he and Kiki Hernandez are the two righties who are in against a lefty. I think the lineup did just come out. So I think Rojas is more likely to get pinch hit for than Taylor, although I don't know what they're going to do. Like at least one or two of those guys are going to get taken out. But to me,
like
Taylor's
Dodgers just came in. Taylor's batting 8th.
Yeah, like he's cheap enough that I don't even care if he does get pinch hit for. So he's my favorite cheap play. But he's only just slightly cheaper than Jeremy Pena, who I think is a fine play. And then on DraftKings, you got Machado at short as well. He's my favorite spend up. And that's it. There's nothing to love at the position other than bets on FanDuel.
Okay, well, I know a position that we all love, and it is the outfield because that's where the good bats hang out. That's what they do. They hang out.
It is all happening there tonight. I mean, there's like 10 outfielders that I want to play in every lineup. It's fantastic. I will rank them Soto, Carroll, Judge, Tatis. But if you want to rank them Ohtani, Alvarez, whatever you want to do. But Soto, Carroll, and Tatis are the three that I have the most of at the high end. As we get down a little cheaper, I love Stanton. On FanDuel, I love Teoscar Hernandez. More on DraftKings, I love Lourdes Gurriel, Jock Peterson, and Alec Thomas on both sites. The Astros guys, you can spend up for the lefties, but like Chas McCormick and Jake Myers are good plays, cheap. There's a crazy ton to love. And that's why I'm playing some Ross Stripling. Like I have some AJ Puck Ross Stripling lineups just so I can go Soto, Judge, Tatis, or Carroll, Alvarez, Ohtani. Like all that stuff is just fantastic.
Yeah.
I think that's really it. Like that's all the sort of highlights. I feel really great about all of the kind of obvious hitters, but it's enough obvious hitters that nobody can just play all of them, except for me. I can play all of them in one lineup. It's incredible.
Yeah, you've been playing for a long time. They give you special privileges.
That's
how you've won $1 million, not once but twice.
Yeah. Play all these outfielders. You get one lineup. You can play as many outfielders as you want.
Yeah, that helps.
So that's how I feel about it. It's enough obvious plays that they can't all be obvious.
Okay. Just doing a quick radar search here around, San Francisco, Oakland area. The worst of the rain is on the way out, and there's still scattered showers behind. It looks exactly like I thought it would look. I haven't changed my thoughts or opinions. I think they probably get the game in. That's where I stand.
Look at I got this little white cord like sticking way out of my ear. It looks like I just have a little wing going on there. I don't know what's happening.
I didn't know if I was going to say anything.
I think
hearing aid.
I didn't know for you to say it. I've got one of those fancy like policeman like earplugs, but for some reason the volume's not working on it. So yesterday I couldn't even hear what you were saying, which I assume I didn't miss anything, but I couldn't hear it. But now I hear fantastic.
Yeah, that's good. What exactly is a policeman earpiece thing?
It's like, well, I say it's like a policeman ear thing because on Amazon, that's what they call it. It's got like it's this little thing. It's got
an IFB.
What now?
An IFB.
IBF? IFB. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know.
Anyhow, for whatever reason, the volume's not working on that, so I'm gonna have to get a new one of those. So I'll just go into the local precinct and grab a box of it.
Yeah. Okay, that works. Anything else you want to add, Cheese, before we switch sports and talk some hoops?
No, I think I'll go hang out in the Discord and answer some baseball questions, and I'll mute myself while I'm typing. And then you guys do some NBA.
Okay, and then we'll bring you back, and then we'll open it up for questions for any.
Yeah, I'm here. Anytime you want to holler at me, here I am.
Yeah. A reminder: food questions greatly appreciated as well. It's just it's what we do. We eat. Okay, Taylor, let's dive into the basketball slate. Give me a general breakdown here. I've just been in weather mind, and I couldn't tell you a single team on the slate. So I need the full rundown. And you're muted.
You are correct. And I am an amateur.
That was a super rookie move. If you just want me to do NBA too,
it really was. I'm failing so hard. I don't know. It's Friday. No one cares.
No, it's all right.
Okay. Let's see. So there are a million games tonight. Some of them are not on the slate. DK and FanDuel. I think the Nuggets game and the Nuggets against Timberwolves is not on FanDuel. It is on DK. That's really the only difference. We just got news. DeAndre Ayton is in. Cade Cunningham is in. Jaden Ivey is in. We are still waiting on Keldon Johnson, Yusuf Nurkic, Karis LeVert. Is he still questionable? I don't think we've gotten that one yet. It's a decent little slate here. Yeah.
Okay. Seems like a lot going on. It seems like a busy one, especially compared to the 2-gamer last night. We got some questions already, but let's run through your thoughts. If FanDuel and DK are different, we have the time, if you so choose, to break them up separately. If they're similar enough, you can feel free to do them together. But we do have 20 minutes still, so we're all right.
Yeah, we can split them up for now, depending on question volume and all that.
Okay, let's do it.
Sounds good. So FanDuel starting at point guard. Shea is out again tonight. We just got that news a little while ago officially. Cason Wallace, I imagine, will start at point guard again. He is not a good per minute guy, but decent game there. OKC against Phoenix, pretty high total. Should stay close. Wallace got decent burn in the last game. He's still only 4-4. It's not the most comfortable value, but I think he's cheap enough to where you can play him in all formats on FanDuel, shooting guard, point guard. It's interesting because there are a lot of pay up options at point guard. Halliburton, Cade Cunningham, Jalen Brunson stand out the most. But the cash build on FanDuel kind of looks like you're paying down. Miles McBride has just been playing insane minutes for the Knicks lately, just kind of like all the Knicks do with the injuries they have. He's up to 6.3 on FanDuel. Not a discount, of course, but the minutes are hard to ignore, and they're playing San Antonio. So it's an awesome spot for the Knicks. Micic for the Hornets again, looks like a pretty good play, 5-4. Solid value starting. They're thin on guards as usual. I think he's fine for cash too on FanDuel. Sliding to shooting guard, the OKC thing is in play here. Josh Giddey, shooting guard only. Got priced up a little bit, but he and Jalen Williams are both just going to handle the ball a ton for them. Giddey at 7-4, Williams at 8-3 rather. Williams you can play at small forward if you want. Giddey, like I said, is shooting guard only. We got Klay Thompson scratched, which was not expected. That game starts at the top of the hour. He actually looked kind of decent, so we'll see what happens there. Maybe Pajemski jumps into the starting unit. It's not a huge impact, but we'll see what happens on that.
Did someone say Pajemski?
Someone said Pajemski.
That's incredible. All right, Karen.
Yeah, so Thompson actually was in play on FanDuel.
Not anymore.
So he's no longer in play on FanDuel, or DK for that matter. Jordan Poole, another shooting guard only. Washington shorthanded, no Tyus Jones. He gets a huge usage and assist rate boost in that scenario. It's a pretty deep position, which isn't always the case, but lots to like here. Cam Thomas, another one you can add. DiVincenzo, another Nick, just because the Knicks all play 40-plus minutes a night. Small forward, Jalen Williams, you can play here again. Kyle Kuzma, another guy that gets a boost. That Wizards-Pistons game is a matchup between the two worst teams in the league, but in theory, it stays close. There's potential for a shootout, I guess, if they actually make their shots. So Kuz looks good here. Corey Kispert, shooting guard, small forward only rather. 5-3, just a kind of cheap price tag on FanDuel. Don't think he's a bad play, even if he's not the most exciting value ever. The Thompson absence might actually make Andrew Wiggins look a little bit better than he already did. He was already viable for 5-7. Minutes have been pretty secure for him since he got back into the starting unit. They're playing Charlotte as huge favorites. So we got Chris Paul, it looks like, in the starting lineup. No Pajemski. So forget that I ever said Pajemski. He will.
There is no chance I'm ever going to forget that you said Pajemski.
That's fair and understandable. Yeah, Pajemski, I guess, is playable in tournaments, but Paul, let's see what he is on FanDuel. I assume he's point guard only, which limits him a little bit. I'm stalling because I have the wrong thing highlighted. Let's see. Chris Paul, 5-5. It's a matchup against Charlotte, so I think it's fine. It's just kind of a position with a lot of opportunity costs, so he's not a must, but he's certainly more in play for cash now than he was before. Yeah. Shifting to power forward, Marvin Bagley for the Wizards with Rashawn Holmes out. I believe he's going to start. Not sure we've gotten that news yet, but he should, and he has a path to 30-plus minutes. Revenge game, too, if you're into that thing for Marvin Bagley. Can't imagine you are, but
I'm
good play anyway.
Heavily into it. Bagley Revenge. That's why I'm
Bagley
here.
Revenge. That's what dreams are made of. So, yeah, he's probably must-play in cash for 6-1 on FanDuel. Trace Jackson Davis on the other side of the Hornets game. Another Warrior we're playing on this slate. Power forward center makes him pretty easy to get to. Good per minute production at 6-4, and Charlotte has been getting crushed by centers all year. So he looks like a good play in cash and tournaments for that matter. Pascal Siakam, not a bad play, power forward only on FanDuel. Jabari Walker, we got news that he will start even with DeAndre Ayton in, so that does keep him in play. And center Bagley, you can play here. Jackson Davis, you can play here. Jalen Duren is the other one popping into a lot of lineups at 7-2. On the other side of that game, Pistons Wizards. The Wizards are the worst rebounding team in the league. So Duren should, in theory, have a big game on the boards in that one.
Very nice. I want to get to DK, but we do have some promos we got to let you know. First off, Freebie Friday today. Everyone will have access to the Fantasy Pick'em tool. It's free. We're giving you free stuff, so make sure you're taking advantage of it. Speaking of free stuff, I do believe, yes, SimLabs is still in beta for MLB. It is the expert DFS lineup generation tool from RotoGrinders and Fantasy Labs. Just takes a few clicks. You can have hundreds of well-built correlated lineups for whatever contest you're playing. To me, it makes so much sense for baseball. I love this tool. I'm a huge fan. Used it for NBA, used it for NFL, and I will definitely be using it for MLB as well. It's free for now. That's not going to last. Maybe this is the last day. I don't know. So I highly recommend you check it out. It takes like 3 clicks, and then boom, you got it. Cheese, I know you're a hand builder. You're an old school OG kind of builder. Have you played around with SimLabs at all for MLB?
I have not yet. I'm definitely going to play around with it so I can at least tell people what I think you can do with it and where I think it's good and where I think hand building has an advantage. I have not done it yet, but 100% I see the value in it, and I'll at least figure it out enough to be able to tell you how I would use it. Yeah.
Do you have the Cheese Labs on hand by chance? Is it?
Yeah.
There it is. There's the cheese.
Yeah, that's what I was reading to tell you the place. Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. I too keep the notebook. I'm with you on that, man. Okay, very good. We got that out of the way. Let's dive into a DK build. Taylor, I assume it's not too wildly different, but maybe I'm wrong.
You are not wrong. Shooting off an alert there, so sorry for the delay. Let's see.
They've got you doing alerts. They've got you live on a show and doing alerts.
Busy man, Roth.
I got to talk to Meansy. This is unacceptable. I'll talk to Means.
Yeah, you put him in his place. I'm sure he will listen.
Yeah. 0% chance. All right. What are we doing on DK? Let's run through that and then open it up to some QQs.
Yeah, so on DK, point guard is easier to pay up at. Obviously, you can play more of them over there. Giddy is one you're going to want to play in cash. Mentioned him on FanDuel, 6'3" only. Price came up, but not too much. Easy cash play over here. Checking the Chris Paul salary on DK. He's 4'8", so he's going to be squarely in play for cash once the projections update, which I have not seen whether they have yet. Consider him in cash for sure. Jalen Brunson, another pay-up option. Pretty much all the Knicks are in play every night, especially in a good matchup like this against San Antonio. Karis LeVert just got ruled out, which is not a huge deal. Donovan Mitchell got ruled in, so LeVert wasn't really in play anyway. And that game kind of sucks. Anyway, Tyrese Halliburton, another pay-up option in point guard. Miles McBride. It's the same guys I mentioned on FanDuel. Micic, Jordan Poole. Steph Curry is interesting, probably more for tournaments. He's down at 8-4 on DK and 8-3 on FanDuel. They are playing Charlotte. Great matchup, of course. And now No Thompson is going to open up more usage for him. So I do think Steph is cash viable, even though he's probably a better tournament play. There is some blowout potential there, of course. Shooting guard, more Thunder guys. Isaiah Joe played a big role off the bench in the last game. He's only 3'7". Going to get some ownership tonight, which he didn't the other night, but I think it's okay, assuming he comes off the bench. Josh Giddey, again, you can play here. Devin Booker, if you have a little money to spend, looks pretty good. Miles McBride, Jordan Poole. I think Brandon Miller is a pretty interesting play, more so in tournaments, just because his price has come down a bit in recent weeks on the other side of that Golden State game. Small forward, Joe, you can play here. DiVincenzo, Brandon Miller, Andrew Wiggins, like I said, 5K flat. He was in play either way. Without Klay Thompson, he's going to look a little bit better. Probably somewhat, I mean, you don't have to have him in cash. He's Andrew Wiggins. There's a lot that can go wrong there, but I do think he has a clearer path to paying off now. Pascal Siakam, the small forward eligibility on DK makes him really interesting and easier to get to than it is on FanDuel, where he's power forward only. Don't mind that one bit. A few power forward only options that stand out. Jalen Williams, of course, for the same reasons he does on FanDuel. Trendon Watford, decent punt. He's only 3-1 on DK. Don't mind looking his way if you really need the savings. And Anthony Davis at the top. Indiana is a team that's allowed a ton of paint points all season long. We've seen AD dominate against them before, and there's no reason to think he can't do it again tonight. Center only. Marvin Bagley, center only. Trace Jackson Davis, center only. Bagley is a guy you're certainly playing in cash for only 4-8. Jackson Davis, is another solid value for 5.5. Duran, I mentioned on FanDuel, also a great play on DK. And I think that's really your center pool for DK.
Very nice. We've got 10 minutes for QQs, but first, something I don't like. I don't like the Joes. Isaiah Joe. Isn't there a Connor Joe in baseball?
There is.
It's just a dumb. Why? It's just, I don't know what you do if you're stuck with that last name. It's not like you can change it.
Especially Connor Joe when your first name is a last name and vice versa. Like, what is happening there?
It just, the whole thing, I don't understand it. I don't like it. Just by rule, I don't play these guys because their last name is Joe, and I don't respect it. I don't expect them. Yeah.
There's a soccer player I saw the other day. His name's Joe Gomez, plays for Liverpool. His middle name is Dave.
Joe Dave Gomez?
Not David. Straight up Dave.
Joe Dave Gomez. I like it. All right. We got a bunch of QQs coming in. Let's dive into it. We're starting on the Discord. By the way, if you're watching this and you're like, whoa, 2 sports, 2 experts, different sports, how much, and a man with a master's degree in meteorology, how much did this cost me? It's free. Can you believe that? It's free. We're charging you nothing except a little thumbs up. It's at the bottom of your screen. All we ask is that you hit that like and subscribe button because we want to keep this show free and we need the eyeballs in order to do that. Let's jump into it. Starting, is Connor Joe going yard tonight? Jeez, is the first question.
Well, no, but it's conceivable. Sure.
No,
but
not. No, he's getting the golden
Maybe if he had a
sombrero.
different name.
Yeah, give him the golden sombrero. I don't know. I don't even know if that's a thing. That's the extent of my baseball knowledge, is that it is a thing. I don't know what it is, but it's
that's
not
when you
good.
Strike out all the time. That's
okay. Yeah,
the 4 strikeouts.
All right, let's see what we got here. Our judge and okay, you're already answering these. Good job. FanDuel NBA single entry. Taylor, your first stud to play in a lineup.
I'm thinking AD. He was the one that stood out to me the most. Yeah, I guess the Thunder guys don't really count because they're in the mid-range. So all the way up is AD for me.
Okay. Eric Johnson says, can I go back to Banton?
Yes. Simons is out. So Banton, again, looks like a good play, assuming, he's off the bench, but the minutes have been there of late.
Okay. Hammer says, do you like a cup of Joe? I don't drink coffee. Are you guys coffee drinkers?
Yes.
I do like a cup of Joe.
I don't touch,
but I don't like a
cup
cup of Connor.
Yes, no, absolutely
Cup
not.
of Isaiah.
Yeah,
no, thank
gross. Eric says DK cash or tournaments, Siakam or Kuz. Taylor,
DK cash or tournaments. I think Siakam a little bit over Kuz.
Okay. Eric Johnson confidently stating Steph is the man. Not just in general, like in life. I think he means for this slate. Are you interested in any Steph, especially with Clay out, maybe?
Yep. I mentioned him on DK as a terrific play, especially now.
Okay, nice. Eric's his thoughts on Abdia.
He's a solid mid-range guy. I never mind getting to him. He kind of does everything out there.
Okay. What do we got here? More basketball. If you have baseball questions still, I saw Cheese answered a bunch, but if you still got them, get them on in. Also dinner questions. He's always ready. Taylor, FanDuel GPP single entry. If I'm playing AD and Turner, which guy would you leave? Which guy would you leave? Feel better about leaving out, TJD or Bagley? I read that as stated for what it's worth.
I'd feel better about leaving TJD out.
An interesting question about who would I prefer as a hypothetical weekend guest at my home? Otani, Sans interpreter, I believe, or Keldon Johnson. I think Otani, Sans interpreter. I'm still an Otani fan. I'm still an Otani stan. Nothing's going to shake that. Is he going to get suspended, Cheese?
I'm not going to get into that.
Okay.
If you even say anything about it, half the people yell at you. It's almost it's. You may as well talk about Joe Biden for a while. I mean, it's unbelievable. So no, I'm not gonna comment.
Okay, yeah, I'll say it. Yes, he is. I think NBA single entry. Do you think fading the Denver game is a good idea, Taylor?
Yeah, that game doesn't have a lot of awesome looking plays. There is some news like Jamal Murray's questionable, so maybe Reggie Jackson if you want to wait on that. But fading it, I don't think is a bad idea.
Okay. Michael Anderson in the YouTube chat says, Taylor, would you play Edwards if he's ruled in?
Yeah, Edwards is always a fantastic play, and I assume no one's going to play him except for you.
Okay. Yeah. Does DK have odds on a Connor Joe home run? Can we? I will search.
I wouldn't know. I don't have
a
DK Sportsbook in my state, so I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Plus 700. It's plus 700. That might be the bet of the day right there.
I mean, that's fair. I think that's a perfectly reasonable number and shows how he's not super likely to hit a home run.
Yep. All right. Golden State starting Chris Paul makes me feel like Curry won't play the whole game. I personally disagree. Taylor, do you disagree?
I agree with you in disagreeing with him.
Okay. Excellent. Like they're just they think he gives them the best chance to win, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah. Flying Armbar says FanDuel, GPP, Isaac, Metu, or Watford?
Watford. That's gross.
Speaking of gross, J3 in the chat says relative humidity is useful. Ban him. Don't ever let him back in here. You kick that guy out, it's dew point or busted in these streets, buddy.
That's a Connor Joe account, really, is what that is.
Yeah. That's Connor Joe's mom, Mama Joe. What do we got? Joe Mama. How did I say Mama Joe and not Joe Mama? That's bad. Nope, can't read that one. I took Ohtani stolen bases at plus 8,400. Is that right? Geez, plus 8,400. I thought Ohtani can swipe a bag.
I mean, 840 is different than 8,400. But by a lot. By a lot.
It is. I meant 840. I don't know. Yeah.
I don't actually have any clue what a stolen base number should be.
Okay.
But
I think the problem is all he does is hit home runs and doubles. He doesn't.
It's hard. It's hard to steal if you're just always trotting around.
That's right. What else do we got here? More QQs. Only 2-3 minutes here until lock. FanDuel cash question for you, Taylor. Wiggy. Oh, we got. Jeez, you can't jump in and I was about to get you involved. You jumped in and took it on the Discord.
Maybe I didn't give the real answer in there.
Okay, I'm going to make you say it out loud because what if somebody else has the same question, Cheese? First off, FanDuel cash, Taylor. Wiggy McBride or Cliff Paul and TJD?
That's quite difficult. What was the first one again? Wiggy and
McBride.
Yeah, I think it's the other one.
Okay. Paul and TJD it is. ASAP Charger says Cheese, Judge, or Soto, two of the best bats on the whole slate.
Yeah, so there's been some version of that question like 5 times. And in a tournament, Judge is more likely to hit like 4 home runs where you have to have him. But just like overall best place or in a cash game, at least, I like Soto today. He matches up better against Javier. So I say Soto, but I mean, yes, just either or, they're both fantastic and amazing plays.
Yeah. All right. What do you think about a Houston and D-backs stack? I do believe those are 2 of the 4 that you said were.
It's 2 of the 4. So if you're combining 2 of those 4 and doing a 4-4, I mean, you're definitely kind of chalky, but still kind of like you said. Well, I mean, there's a lot of different combinations of 4 teams. So yeah, I think you're okay with that.
Yeah. Okay. Thoughts on Musgrove over 5.5 Ks, Cheese?
With the caveat that I do not do any prop betting and I don't know what a good number is, I would lean not to play that personally or under.
Okay, nice. All right. Let's see, Cheese. Do you think Jock sticks around the entire game? Is he still in a spot where he gets the hook?
So the answer is we don't know because he's on a new team. So I'm going to assume that they do not treat him like the Giants did.
Yeah.
I'm playing him as if he gets a whole game. The Rockies have just one lefty. So the chances of him facing that one lefty and him still being treated the same as the Giants did, I think he probably just plays the whole game.
Yeah, that is good and solid analysis. And it is coming in just before the bell as we are seconds away from lock. And I do believe we have answered all of the questions as well. We did indeed. That means it is about time for us to depart. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. I'm going to be staying up. I'm going to be watching the forecast in Oakland because there's a chance that Oakland hits us with a late start. And that doesn't necessarily mean all hell is broken loose. It probably just means one of those spotty downpours happens to be going over right at the start of the game. And that's certainly possible. So I'll be up. I'll be watching it just to walk people through what I'm seeing before lock. Once that game starts, I will not be staying up to update anything, but I will get you up through game start before I call it a night. Some folks saying happy Friday. I refuse to say Friday. I can't do it.
So that was not a typo. That's just what people are saying.
Now? It's what they say. It's
what the kids
Friday.
are saying.
Yeah, it's what the kids are saying.
The kids need to cut it out.
Yeah, I did say it, but I was mocking it, so it's different. All right, we're gonna bounce on out of here. Hit us with the thumbs up on your way out. That'd be easy to do. There it is. There's the thumbs up on the bottom there. So for Cheese, for Taylor, for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes, guys, we appreciate you. We love you. We will catch you tomorrow. You have been